Yeah, you're good there, Joel. I'll start with you, Joel. I mean, obviously not the result you guys wanted today, but it was a crazy back and forth game. I mean, what did you think about just kind of the effort you guys gave? Even though you fell down 14-0 early, it seemed like, hey, maybe it might get out of hand. How did you guys kind of stay locked in this whole time and keep it close throughout?
We all believed in each other. I mean, that's basically like what we built for. So no one works alone. We all work together as a team, as a family. We're all brothers, so no one doubted each other. We just picked each other up and just kept on fighting.
I'll ask that same question to Latrell then as well, if you don't mind passing that down. Just, how did you guys keep that fight going the whole time today? I mean, you fell down early and it felt like, oh my gosh, this game might get out of the hand early, but you guys battled right back into it. Just talk about the fight from start to finish from the group to that.
So we came into it knowing that they get a lot of big plays, and we told each other that we got to keep fighting after that happens. Because even if they get a big play, we can come back, and so that's what we did. And then we just kept on hammering them, and we could feel them giving up as we were fighting, but it just wasn't enough.
Dustin, I'll have a question for you as well. Just this group, and you guys came up a little short here again, but back-to-back state championship game appearances. Today you get to play on your home field. We finally get to see some fans out there as well. What can you say about this group and this team, what they've been able to do the last couple of years?
It's been great early years, and just love playing with everybody in the program and everybody. But it's been fun, back-to-back years, going to the state championships, and learned a lot last year.
What was the key to having such success over these last couple of years?
Just riding in the off-season. Trusting each other.
And Coach, I have a question for you as well. If you guys don't mind passing it back down. Coach, and just in terms of today's game, what did you think about the way you guys came out and played? Obviously, first time we had a bunch of fans in the stands, state championship game on your home field. What can you say about your team's effort just in this game today?
We kind of start off a little slow, but it's one thing about this team, they're not quitters. Probably the most competitive group of kids I've been around, and they kept to the process, they kept working, we stayed faithful to each other. They trusted us as coaches to put them in the right spot, and like I said, we battled back after putting ourselves in a hole, and just super proud of what they accomplished this year, and even today didn't finish the way we wanted it, but these young men left everything on the field, and I think that's all a good coach should ask for.
And just looking at this program over the last 2 years, to get to 2 straight state championship games, I know they didn't end the way you wanted them to, but what can you say about what you guys have been able to build here over the last couple of years?
Well, getting these little snotty-nosed kids in 8th grade, we kind of saw the potential in them, and we pushed them. Pushed them in the off-season, in the weight room, pushed them to play other sports. We had him beg this one to come out and play football for us, and I'm glad he did. But again, they're just ultra competitive. That was one of the hardest things about the COVID was they couldn't compete one-on-one with each other. So we had to kind of keep them from doing that. But just a great group of young men. Again, hardworking, smart. They love one another. They compete against one another, and they got to hold their head high.
That's all I have. You guys have any questions?
Coach, have you ever been involved in something like this? Being so intense, so back and forth, so trading punches just back and forth.
I've been doing this almost 20 years now, so I've been in a few games like this, but that's how they kind of go sometimes. There, you can't catch your breath. You give up a play here, but before you know it, here we are scoring. So it's an up and down game, but unfortunately they had one more up than us, and like I said, it's just tough, but at the same time, I'm proud of it.
Coach, can you comment on were there any differences this time around as opposed to last year? Same opponent, but you all seemed to be hitting them a lot better tonight.
It's kind of hard to compare because a lot of these guys played last year.
Right.
And I think that year of maturity paid off. A lot of them hit the weight rooms on the shutdown. A lot of guys had their own weight rooms. And they just found a way to keep getting better, to keep pushing themselves. And like I said, all the credit goes to them to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing.
And it looked like, if you could comment on the effort of your offensive line, you were blowing them off the ball in the second half.
Coach Michael's a smart man, and the one thing I learned when I was young as a head coach, you want to smart people that are a lot smarter than you. And I've had the luxury to do that with all the assistant coaches that I work with, and Coach Michael does a great job with those offensive linemen. He gets them in 8th grade, and he pushes them, and then today they created some huge holes, and so our offensive line was a just great line play, one of their best games that they did this year.
I have a question for Latrell. Early on, you guys give up 2 long touchdown runs, one of them up the middle to number 4, Jonathan Penix. After that, it feels like you guys adjusted and kind of bottomed them up in the middle there. Aside from one other long run, they didn't have a whole lot going offensively in terms of big plays. What did you guys do to adjust after those first couple of touchdowns that they scored?
So we started out with year slinging, and it wasn't working because we were making as like a D-line too big of gaps for the linebackers to contain. So then we talked about it, and then we started talking, which I'm just like head up, and I get to pick which side I go to. So then it was just it was helping eliminate the space and help us work as a good team.
This is just kind of in general for y'all, coach or whoever wants to answer it. I think by my count, there are like 10 combined fumbles. Was it a game of, pouncing on their mistakes and then maybe pouncing on your mistakes today?
It was definitely a roller coaster ride with the mistakes we made, but we overcame those and we took advantage of their mistakes. They just happened to take advantage of one more. And like I said, tough game to lose.
Sure. How about on your last possession, you guys are able to, sorry, not your last possession, but you're able to kind of move it into their territory. It's down to like their 32-yard line, and then you choose to throw it on 4th and 6. What was that decision about?
So, I think the reason why we threw is because we believe in Brandon. All year everyone's been saying, oh, he's a sophomore, and he's not mature, he's not this, he's not that. That is probably one of the toughest young men I've ever played with or ever met in my life. So, I think the reason why we passed is because we believe in Brandon. Sure, it didn't go the way we wanted, but we all believe in Brandon regardless of what happens.
Do you feel like he played a big role today, especially given how you guys can, any of your running backs can take the direct snap too? Do you feel like he played a big role in keeping Appomattox a little more honest defensively?
Absolutely. He completed some passes at key times, and he had a great game. And again, with a sophomore and this type of game, he stepped up.
And how about for just Blake's play today? He had over 100 yards. I think part of that credit has to go to the offensive line, as he was talking about. But what else was it that he was able to do today?
Blake's a patient runner. He sees a hole well. We ask him to be patient on our superpower, because sometimes the backside cut opens up last second. Sometimes he just stays behind the line, and Blake does a good job reading the blockers in front, and our line did a great job.